Dr. Ferguson, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I am Dr. Dave Gilbert, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Evermind. Evermind is producing an ambient assisted living system. And what that is a system for monitoring senior loved ones in your family at a distance. There's a problem that we're addressing that is a real problem in this country. We have 40 million seniors in this country. That population is growing rapidly. 10 million of those seniors live alone, and as a result of living alone, they're often disconnected from their families. That's the central problem that we aim to address. We aim to address it by producing an ambient assisted living system that creates something that sociologists have called ambient awareness. Ambient awareness we see as having two parts. First of all, peace of mind. I want to know that my loved one is okay, and that if she's not okay, then I'm going to get a message so that I can check on her and attend to her. Secondly, I want my loved one to know that she's okay, and to know that if she needs help, that I'll be there for her. The second part of ambient awareness is connectedness. So beyond just wanting to know that I have peace of mind and that my loved one has peace of mind, I want to be more closely connected to that loved one. I want to know when she's making her coffee. I want to know the details of her life and to know that she is doing well, and to feel close to her, to feel intimate with him or her. Now, we live in a world with social media, with Twitter and Facebook and so forth, where we're already used to having this sort of ambient awareness of most of our friends and family. We know the details of their daily lives through these micro-messaging systems like Twitter and Facebook and so forth. That's the way I keep up with my parents, my sister, her family, and my friends. I see what they do every day through these micro-messaging systems. However, my 94-year-old grandmother Lois doesn't use Facebook, and she doesn't use Twitter. And so central to what we're doing is to try to bring older people who don't use social media, like my grandmother Lois, into the ambient awareness circle, so that I have a sense of what she's doing every day, just like I have a sense of what most of my other family and friends are doing every day. Now, a way to look at what we're doing is to look at a very old technology that we used to use to keep up with loved ones. In the old days, my grandmother might have lived on my property on a farmhouse in the same plot or same land. I could look over, I could see that she was making a fire, I could see smoke coming from her chimney. I would know that she's up and that her activities of daily living are normal. We don't live in that sort of world anymore. So our basic premise is that the way to look for smoke signals now is to look for electricity usage in the home, to look for current draw from common household appliances as activities or indicators of activities of daily living. This is a very simple product. The way we do that can be illustrated in 4 steps. In the illustration here, you take our device, you plug it into the wall, and then you plug in, say, a coffee pot, something that you know your loved one uses at a regular time each day. Our device then notices when the coffee pot is switched on or switched off. It sends that information to our Evermind cloud server, and then our cloud server will send you an email or a text message when your loved one deviates from a normal pattern of usage. Our product, in fact, contains 3 power sensors. You plug those into devices that you know your loved one uses in a regular way. For example, a coffee maker, television, a bedside lamp. And you plug it into devices that allow you to get a picture at different intervals during the day of your loved one's activities. This is what the product looks like. You'll notice this doesn't look like a medical device. We've endeavored to take our industrial design very seriously to make the product look like it would fit into a nice contemporary home. It looks like a product you might buy at West Elm. It doesn't look like cheap Chinese plastic. It doesn't look like a intrusive medical monitoring device. It's designed by a team of people that design consumer electronics. The middle piece, you'll notice, is a little bigger than the 2 other monitors. That's because the middle piece also has a cell phone modem in it. The cell phone modem allows the system to communicate with the internet so that you don't have to have anyone come in and install any sort of network bridge in your grandmother's home. After you install the pieces yourself and plug them into the appliances that you're monitoring, you go to our very simple web interface, and you identify the types of appliances that you've chosen to monitor and set up the messaging system. Now, we're not the first company to be in the business of designing an ambient assisted living system. There have been companies doing this for about 10 years. But these companies have produced products that, frankly, no consumer will ever buy. They've produced products that are too expensive. They've produced products that are intrusive and invasive to the privacy of the loved one. They have produced products that have to be professionally installed, requiring people to go in and drill holes in your mother's or grandmother's walls. We've decided that's the wrong approach. We've decided the right approach, especially for an entry-level consumer product in the ambient assisted living field. It needs to be installable by the caregiver, it needs to be simple and unobtrusive, and it needs to empower the individual that it's monitoring. We also believe it needs to be at a price point that's truly a consumer and Walmart-friendly, Target-friendly price point. Another way of looking where our product is positioned is this. A RAND study identified what it called a continuum of frailty. On the one side, it may be enough to use the telephone and email to make sure that your loved ones are okay. This is the situation my parents are in. My father has had a heart attack, but he's doing pretty well. My mother and father are in their mid-70s, and they take care of each other. So every day I'll call them, we trade emails, and I know they're okay. Now, on the other end of that continuum of frailty, before someone might have to go into skilled nursing, very complex monitoring systems like GE's Quiet Care, for example, which are intrusive and expensive, may be the right thing. Before that stage, we've all heard of the PERS, or personal emergency response devices. That is the lanyards with the buttons that you press when you're in trouble. Those devices have their place. However, a recent British Journal of Medicine study determined that in up to 80% of cases, those devices don't work, either because the older person is not wearing the lanyard when they have an event, or after an event, they don't have the cognitive capacity to press the button. We believe that our device is a device that you buy first when telephone and email is no longer enough. Before you make your mother wear a necklace with a button on it, we think you buy our device first. Now, beyond that, it may be, and we do think that PERS devices have their place and some are effective in some cases. And so we believe that our device, which is a passive monitoring system, also makes a very good complement to a PERS device. Let's look at the team. As Dr. Ferguson pointed out, we have a team of people that I've assembled. 7 of us are former product developers, engineers, and marketing executives at Griffin Technology. We helped to grow Griffin Technology from a small Nashville startup in Paul Griffin's kitchen to a major supplier of iPod, iPhone, and iPad accessories. We've put that team back together to help do for Evermind what we did for Griffin for those years. I would also like to point out that in addition to that Griffin team, we have Greg Appelhoff, who is a co-founder of ours who runs a channel management company in Minneapolis. While we were at Griffin, we worked very closely with Greg to place product at Best Buy and Target. And Greg is helping us to place our product now in those same channels. Mike Delavante, who owns Delavante Creative, we took it very seriously that we needed the top marketing and branding firm in the city that we could find. And so we made Mike a co-founder so that he can be in on every conversation we have so that we can create a truly integrated consumer product. And Doug Kirk, who is our general counsel and who has helped us from the very beginning. Also, a couple of institutional partners that are very important to us. Second Generation Capital, they are providing operational support, and they have been with us from the beginning. And also Lipscomb University, and especially their new School of Transform Aging, is providing support and helping teach us more about the people we're designing the products for. We have a great group of Jumpstart mentors, Dr. Ferguson, who you just met, David Bartley, Chris Sigaran, and Dr. Mike Butera. I want to show you briefly how we produced a product at Griffin so you know the way that this team works together. So Don Stratton, who is our Evermind CTO, he's an electrical engineer who designed Griffin's iTrip. That was the Griffin product that allowed you to listen to the music from your iPod on your car stereo. Don designed the first iTrip and was Griffin's first full-time engineer. So he would do the electronics. He would pass the electronics off to Blair Hasty. Blair Hasty is also one of our co-founders. He's an industrial designer. About half of the products that are still on the pegs at Best Buy and Target and Walmart were designed by Blair Hasty. After Blair did the plastics, he would pass that on to Josh Sharp-Steyerwalt, one of our co-founders, who's a mechanical engineer, who would take Don's Electronics and Blair's Plastics and put them together into an integrated product. Then it would get passed on to the rest of us who would oversee the operation of the business and manage the sales channels. We talk about who we're selling this product to, whose problems this product is solving. We've all heard of the sandwich generation. This is the roughly 40 million people, Americans, who are responsible for the welfare of children on one side, and also increasingly grandparents and aging parents on the other side. These are people who are very busy and who are very willing to buy technology products to solve their family's problems. Best Buy calls them the upscale suburbans and the empty nesters. That's people like me, older Gen X people, and baby boomers. And there are a lot of us, and we spend money to solve problems. We're going to get these customers to buy our product. We're going to drive them to the website and get them into the store. We're working very closely with, again, one of our co-founders, Mike Delavante, and working very closely with Beth Courtney at Siegenthaler PR. This is a good team. They've put together a great plan for us to drive people to the website, to drive people into the store. After we have people in the store, then we're working with Greg Applehoff at TRG and with the merchants to create the right kind of point-of-purchase experiences so that after people are in the store, they come to the shelf, they come to the peg, and they buy the product. Our sales channels, our biggest channel is retail. That's the business that we know. As former Griffin executives, we understand that channel well, and that's where most of our revenue will come from for Evermind. We also have a web business that we want to start with to get market ready through that, to get retail ready through the web business, and a B2B channel we've been in discussion with Brookdale Senior Living and a couple of other companies in the long-term healthcare business to explore those channels, and we're relying on our advisors who have deep healthcare business experience to help us to better understand those channels. Market penetration, if we look at the several different researches around the expansion of the ambient assisted living market, we could see some agreement about 3 million units in the field by 2016. We believe we'll take 10% of that business, which will give us 300,000 units in the field by 2016. And as you'll see, that creates a very nice business. Our revenue streams are two. We're selling the device itself, and at $199, that gives us a 50% gross profit on the device at $19.99 a month for the service, and we validated these prices. They're very good consumer prices. This gives us a 75% margin, so we have some elasticity in the way that we share that margin with B2B partners, retailers, and others. Our financial projections, we expect to be cash flow positive in May of 2014 with an EBITDA of $20 million by 2016. It's worth pointing out that we will be cash flow positive just on our online and B2B business. As you can see, the retail business is where a great deal of revenue comes from, but the online and B2B business will make us a healthy business before even retail does so and make us cash flow positive. We received $15,000 in seed capital from Jumpstart Foundry. We're looking for $350,000 to get started full-time so we can get the team focused on building the manufacturable product. We have prototypes in the field that we've been testing with 2 different families now for about a month. Those tests are going really well. We're going to continue to do that testing. In 6 months, we'll be ready for manufacturing. At that point, we'd like to use $500,000 to manufacture and be ready to go online and in our B2B channels. At that point, we'll ask for another $750,000 to manufacture for a load into a retailer like Walmart or Best Buy, which we will do in September of 2014. That's our plan for the business. We'd love to have your help and have you walk with us along the way. Thank you for your time.